What's up? All right. So this video is going to come up fairly quickly after the other one. Heck, this one might even come up faster because the other one is taking a while to process because it went twice as long as I usually like to keep these. But hello. This is Mike, rookie trader. Normally Mongo's in on the introduction, but we went for a run today. I watch Matt Core's channel quite a bit, and he was talking about hydration and running. And decided I wanted to go for a run today. Ran about 4 and walked about 3. Did about a 1.5 mile walk before I started running, stretched a bit, then ran, and then walked quite a bit after, and should have probably stretched more. Interested to see how hard it will be to get out of bed tomorrow. But the reason for this video, I'm Mike, rookie trader, not financial advisor. Just providing opinion and data for you to do with what you will. So threshold list update. There is some additions. Didn't really notice specifically or didn't really look for what got removed. I just noticed that, well, let's just take a peek at it. Let's see here. SPRT is still on it, which is important. BBIG is still on it, which is important. And ATER is still on it, which is important, which covers all of what I wanted to triple check there. Oh, Bluetooth speaker randomly connected. But to mention some information, there is some additions and some additions of note. Let's see here. DI, outstanding shares 49.55 million, free float 10.62%, which caught my eye because anytime it's under 40, it's usually appealing. Not to mention that there is only 49.55 million outstanding shares, and only 10% of that, meaning roughly about 5 million, are traded right now. 94.48% utilization, which is not exactly what I look for. I usually look for 98 or more, but I will start tracking this one. Unfortunately, Ortex did not have the short interest on that one, so if anyone can find the short interest on that one and wants to comment that down below, that'd be awesome. But the cost to borrow, 55.92%. Now, the reason why I say it that way is because there is a note on this one that it has a massive surge in utilization. It spiked from in the last 7 days. So that is something that I am going to keep an eye on. Probably watch the chart on that one. If it does start to show any kind of movement, I might track this one for a couple days before getting in on it. Next up, ELYS, 23.28 million shares outstanding. The free float, 63.80, which usually I prefer that to be lower, but since there is lower amount of outstanding shares, that's roughly 60% of 24, like 13 million, rough math, which kind of piques my interest. 100% utilization, which is something I always like to see. Short interest, 17.67. Unfortunately, the cost to borrow is only 7.81. So I'm going to probably track this one for at least a day, watch the chart, set some alerts on it, see where it's been, where it might go, type situation. But it being on the threshold list means that it's pretty much on the naughty list for FTDs. And for those that don't know what FTDs are, they're failure to delivers. That's usually market makers, not a lot of the time from what I've noticed, it's usually when the option change happens and a bunch of people exercise their options and the market makers didn't hedge for all of that exercising, meaning that they don't have the shares. So then they report that they don't have the shares, which means they failed to deliver those shares. But I might have that wrong. That's just kind of how I've gathered it from bits and pieces of other information. So if anyone wants to correct me on that, by all means, comment below. But with that, it's just anytime something's on the threshold list and it has high utilization, significant short interest, and high cost to borrow, it really gets me interested into that play. Last one is ENVX, 145.25 million shares outstanding, or outstanding shares, 53.88% free float, 100% utilization, only 2.29% short interest, which is really low, and the cost to borrow is 6.28, which is also really low, which just means I will track this one further, see what happens with this one. I'll probably, again, look at the chart, see what it might do. Probably need to see some movement in these before considering making plays, but because they're on the threshold list and they're decent utilizations, I just want to bring these to your guys' attention because they will be on my watch list, and I will be trying to track to see if they might have similar potential as other big plays that have been on the threshold list in the past. So that is my threshold list update. I did happen to go into the other room to pick up the slip that I tracked the sells for today. So I did sell some very short calls that I had on SPRT. I got in at 27, and I got out at 55, or I got partially out at 55, which is 103% increase. And then the other ones that I was in at 27, I got out at 75, which is 177%. Like I said, I tried to cycle in, cycle out. And what I ended up doing with that is I just rolled those profits into further, and like all of the money, I just took all of that and rolled it into further out calls for SPRT because it is not done yet. Or at least I don't believe it's done yet. BGRY, which is one of the sleepers that I picked the other day, might have been yesterday or the day before. Anyways, one of the plays I got in at 20, got out at 35, 75% increase. Got in on another one at 50, got out at 80, which is 60%. Going to kind of try to track that one I mentioned in the previous video. Not sure how much with limited data I want to continue making that play, but we'll see how it trends in the morning. I did have a root, R-O-O-T put, and I got that put because when you miss out on the run up, you can still hopefully catch its ride down. With the root run that it did day before yesterday, I got a put, and today I was able to cash in on it. I got in at 10, got out at 15, 50% up. Take it, because it was starting to trend like it wasn't going to come down, so down as far as I wanted it to in a short period of time. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to take that capital and roll it into a better play. So got in on the trade, got out on the trade, swing from one day to the other, and made 50%. I'll take it. Now, something that I haven't done in these videos yet, which just goes to show I am not perfect. Some of these 100% gains are awesome to hear. Just understand that a lot of these are very small dollar value plays that I'm making. Even though it's up significantly percent, I don't have a lot of my portfolio available right now to make trades. A lot of what I am in is AMC. And so a lot of this other stuff, it's just very little, and I'm just trying to multiply it as much as I can. But making a bunch of little plays that go up 50 to 100%, I don't know about you, but that's still going to compound and make some good money, and I like that. And also, it gives me more, I guess, experience and also more confidence when it does come to the point where I do have more money to make these plays, that I'll make them similar in the same way, regardless of the dollar value that's attached to the play. And then that will, as long as it's still consistent in the same strategy and the same plan that I keep in place and I try to stick to, then that means that those 100% or 50% or 20% gains that I have, they're still going to be that same percentage. They just might have a bigger dollar attached to it. But to mention some of the losses that because no matter what you have going on in your portfolio, until you sell whatever it is, until you make that confirmation that whatever that's worth isn't actually yours yet. So for instance, last time SPRT made a run, I was up 11K or 12K, but I didn't sell it at that point. I sold it when it started to come back down, which was, that's one that will drive me nuts because I was 31 cents away from my sell order. And that's another thing that I have been mentioning to friends and family with investments, and I should mention it in this video. Typically, there is a lot of psychological levels or psychological selling attached to nice even dollar amounts. And I've been guilty of that as well. Hey, SPRT was running. I saw 60, wanted to cash in at 60. It ran to 59.69. If I would have, which is a strategy that I've been implementing in the last week or so, if I would have put in that at 59.50, it would have filled. So a lot of the time, whatever I try to do when I do place an order, I do try to place it for just even 50 cents, 75 cents, maybe even $1 less than what that even nice clean number is. Yes, you might be missing out on a little bit, but I'd rather miss out on a little bit than run into the same situation that I had where I had it set at 60 and didn't hit that, thought maybe, oh, it'll come back, and then ended up, you know what, I don't want to lose any more than I have in the last 30 minutes when it started to just free fall, and just cash in and take it. So just a caveat of information there for those that might be still watching at this time. But to get into some of the losses that I did take, and I did mention in the other video that I just rolled these, so I didn't technically get out of AMC. I just took the AMC calls that I was down on, and with just losing and just burning theta in these options, which is why options are one of the many reasons why options are riskier and why I don't necessarily recommend them to everybody. The theta burn on these, because it was getting closer and closer to expiration, was hurting me. And so AMC wasn't looking super strong. And there's been so many times where it's gone up to 48 and come down. And I was just, based on my previous experience of getting smacked with day before Friday plays where I'm like just hopeful that it'll come up. And then I've had really red Fridays where they just completely expire useless, and I've lost a lot of money that way. I stuck to my strategy where, hey, you know what? It has several hours into Thursday, and if it's not looking like it's going to make me a bunch, I am going to roll it into a further out time frame. So I am going to sell it, absorb those losses, take those losses as what they are, because a lot of the time I feel like we see that negative percentage attached to that play, and we think, oh, well, if we just don't sell it right now, it'll eventually make it back, which is something that I have suffered from before, is that hope of, hey, you know what, just all of a sudden it's just going to break and shoot up, and then I'm going to be able to make all of that back. With options, diamond handing is not the way to go. That is something that I have written and like on paper near my computer as I am trading, just so I know, hey, you know what, don't get too attached to this option. So to get into this a little bit, I had some AMC calls that were all kind of expiring. A lot of these calls I got a while ago, and they have been down for a long time. They have been trending up, which is nice, but they weren't making back that amount as fast as I needed it to. And so I got out of them, rolled them into further out. So then if this does break 50, yeah, I will regret not having these in still, but at the time when I sold these, it didn't look like it was going to hit 50. It looked like it was dragging down. The whole GME down 10%, AMC not really getting its breakout. it was looking like it might be another Thursday, Friday setup. I love AMC Monday, Tuesday, and a lot of the time on Wednesdays, but Thursday, Fridays, Amy's been letting me down. So I just wanted to just kind of prevent that from happening. Now I will say that because I rolled into further out time frames, that if it does surge and break, hopefully the profits that I make on that make up for the losses that I accepted today. But to get in on that, there was a call play at 8.80. I got out at 5.95. That was a 32% loss. There was another one at 5.98, got out at 4.25. That was a 28% loss. There was one at 7.0, got out at 2.2. That was a 68% loss. There was one at 3.82, got out at 3.20. That was a 16% loss. And then there was one at 3.82, got out at 3.50. That was an 8% loss. So did take some losses. I am not invincible, nor is anybody that tries to claim that they are. I will never just post the things that I've won on. Usually in my greeting, I mention, hey, I'm a rookie trader. I've lost more than I've gained. I am not trying to boast that I'm the best in any way. I am simply just trying to provide data and give people, I guess, a little insight on what I have had happen to me to try to keep it from happening to others. So yes, I took these losses, but I rolled these into the capital that I did get from these instead of letting that just to burn up into nothing, which is what it looked like it was going to do. I rolled it into AMC options further out, September monthlies, October monthlies. And then all of a sudden AMC started to track up and it's looking so pretty right now. I am just hoping it gets that break of 50. And then, hey, you know what? The profits on these ones, I'm in my mind, are going to make up for the losses that I've had to suffer today. And I'll be able to give that as an update and be super excited about it. So from myself and my passed out dog, Mongo, yeah, he went running with me too, and he is beat. So I am going to go sleep. Like, comment, subscribe. Please let me know any plays that you like, or if there are ones that I've mentioned, sweet, awesome. Let's talk about them. If they are some new plays that I mentioned that you're looking into and are excited about, that would be cool too. Or if there's a play that I should be looking into, please comment down below and let me know. As always, good luck in the market.